Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast, making a positive difference in learning through innovation.
Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast, and thanks for making us part of your educational PD journey. In this episode, we're excited to share insights and reflections from our experience at the Future of Education Technology Conference, FETC 2025. Join us as we discuss the transformative tools and innovative ideas we encountered that can enhance our classroom and empower our students. I am Jimmy Kate.
I'm Pam Hubler.
I'm Eileen Fernandez-Parker.
And we are Innovative Learning Coordinators in Berkeley County School District. And we got Jeremy over here producing for us, and hopefully he'll be able to help us out as we're practicing our new kind of multi-camera podcasting. So bear with us as we kind of move through that. So, we were lucky enough to be able to go to FETC in Orlando this year in 2025. Basically in classes all day from 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But, I think the importance of these conferences is the ability for us to, see what other school districts are doing. I think, Eileen, you said it best when you were like, kind of feeling good about like our team, and we're right there with, I think, in our in our county is right there with a lot of the leading, ed tech experts. But we also did get to learn a bunch of stuff as well. So
what do we want to start with?
I think let's start with creation over consumption. But I think that was a really big theme at this FET conference was the idea of creation over consumption. And one of the big, I think, tools that is underutilized, but we have access to in our class link right there with Canva, and that's Adobe Express. So Canva, again, a great creation tool, but really there was a ton of Adobe Express emphasized at this conference. And I think it's because Adobe Express has really stepped up what they're doing.
Yes.
And so, in pretty much in many of the sessions that I went to, there was, talking about turning graphics into animated videos, the ability to make videos, websites, it's got now so much power to it. It's got the same remove background features. So there's a lot of creation opportunities now with Adobe Express. So.
Yeah. And then also, when we think about setting our kids up for their futures, Adobe Express is so used in business.
Yeah.
And so they don't need to be superstars with it, but being familiar with it is going to definitely help them.
Adobe also has the classroom feature for teachers too, which I've been using that when we go out with the ITO truck and we want to create different projects, because then once you create a classroom, and you can see it when a teacher logs on the left-hand side, you click on classroom, you create a class, and then you can easily share a link with them. So that way any of your projects, any of your templates, they're all in one place instead of them having to make sure they share something through Google Drive, which still works, but it is nice to have them all in one place.
Yes. So it just gives that extra choice, I think, to students. You've got Canva, you've got Adobe Express. Anytime you give them some choices, and it's got some really, features that really Canva doesn't. I think the animated videos where the characters can talk. If you remember the old Voki, it's pretty much the exact same thing as Voki, but now you've got the ability to do that inside of Adobe Express for free right there inside of our class link. So I think taking that over as well. And then you were able to go to creation over consumption, actual session with the Merrills, which are really great.
They're awesome. They're
married couple that really do some great presentations.
They're a married couple out of Florida, and in the show notes we actually have a link to their presentation, and it is a Canva presentation, and I guess, do you want to pop it up, Jeremy, if you can? We're going to put it on the screen too, so that way if you are watching, you can see some of the things that they have. They have some amazing resources.
Perfect. Yep. So you get looking creation over consumption. Again, you got at the Merrills EDU. Again, teachers out of Florida. I think a middle school and an was one of them elementary, or are they both middle school?
She might be. Well, I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
I'm not 100% sure.
But they're in that middle, upper elementary, middle grades. Yeah.
Yes, and basically, go ahead and keep going. There is even all the different apps that they use, they have basically where they're adding creativity and lots of different ways where the kids can create. And keep going a little bit.
I think that's the session I went to. Theirs was the idea of creativity.
Yes. And basically this presentation is one that if you already have they have all the different apps up here. Yep. And this is just a visual of some of the apps that they use. And there's tons of them. But it's organized in creation apps, organized in consumption apps, and then organized where it's like both. We try to stick with the both because then you can use it for everything. Like you've got the Canva, you've got Book Creator, we've talked about Adobe Express. There's actually quite a few in there. And then throughout this presentation, you'll have to check out the presentation because like
Head to
the
the
one
show
that we
notes,
have on right now is it has that like a Venn diagram or like a graphic organizer, where if you have that graphic organizer, there's so much you can do to make that into where it's actually more hands-on and they're actually creating things, and they have a video in each one of the slides. So definitely look at the presentation for it, because you can see the one on the left is the consumption, and then the one on the right gives you an idea of how you can change it into being a little bit more creative. And there's just tons of resources, and they are amazing. You can follow them on social media too, and they share ideas all the time. So they are definitely worth the time to check out their resources.
So check out the show notes for creation and consumption.
Yes.
Another, the big theme of this particular one that I went to was podcasting in the classroom. I think that's something that is growing, and I think the power of it. I think kids enjoy it. They get engaged with it, which we're going to talk about. Getting engaged with something. They love podcasting in the classroom, and it doesn't have to be this big, grandiose thing. We do have some mobile podcasting units that you can check out if you want to go big. You can also do it right with your Chromebook, and I think the other thing is everybody thinks that it has to be something that's like podcast is shared to the world, and no, it can stay internal. If you launch it to a larger audience, that usually gets that deeper engagement and deeper learning. But I think even doing what I call microcasting, is something that you can do as well. Do just small little 1 minute, 2 minute, little microcasts in the classroom just to check for that understanding and give those kids that extra choice. I think that's really powerful as well. So.
Yeah. And as an former ELA teacher, I'm thinking about all the communication standards that have to be covered and how much that helps. So many kids don't speak in the classroom because they're not comfortable. But if they have the opportunity to do those podcasts, then they can build their skills, build confidence, all those different things.
All right, I think that covers our creation over consumption. Another big theme that is still...
We got one more.
One more, sorry.
Okay, sorry. Creating with Chrome. It's a presentation by John Sowash. And he basically he has a lot of different activities in there. It is linked. It's a Google Slide presentation. One of my favorites is there is actually a link to a mock social media post. And it's just a great activity for, as far as sharing with the world, and then visual creation, and just also the content that you put in there. And you can always app smash that. And then he talks about really a lot of the things that are available on Chromebooks, which is nice because that's what our kids have. Yeah. So he talks about like imaging editing tools, like just the capture that's on your computer or on the Chromebook, editing where you can create, and then how to do screenshots, how to all that kind of stuff. So lots of good resources to check out in that presentation.
Yes.
We don't have time to. I wish we could just show them all.
Again, reach out to us, hit to the show notes, and again, anytime you get your kids creating with the Chromebook versus consuming, that's always better.
Definitely.
So, the other big, obviously, theme that was in through a lot of our sessions was the use of AI, and really UDL. UDL and AI are now really kind of come together because UDL, AI allows for UDL, I think, to happen so much more seamlessly. Anytime, it's much easier now to remove those barriers from learning if we're talking about universal design for learning, providing choice and different ways of access and representation and demonstration. And I think that those come together really well. And, you were able to, and we were, I think, did you get to see Jake at all? Jake?
No.
Yeah. So me and Pam did a couple of Jake's sessions, and I think he's going to be coming on one of our podcasts soon. And we'll probably be discussing something similar to that as well. But, what did you kind of get from AI and UDL and how they're working together? I think
it's just one of those things where when you're talking about universal design for learning, you're just talking about, how the kids access the information, how they engage with it, and then how they express.
Right.
So it's those three components. And we do it all the time and don't even realize it half the time.
Yes.
Especially when you're talking about students that maybe have disabilities or any kind of accommodations. Those accommodations are often great for really anybody.
Right.
There's a lot of things that were created for people that had, physical handicaps that end up working for everybody.
It does, yeah.
So it's kind of going through all that. And he has a lot of course, good resources. I think one of the best things when he's talking about choice, he talked about salad night at the Miller House. And instead of making like, this is what we're having for dinner, whether you like it or not, you kind of have it more like a buffet. And that's basically what he was trying to relate to education, having that buffet of all the different things that you might need to be able to come up with the same outcome as far as learning,
right,
but giving them lots of choice and options. And so he's got a bunch of different resources in this presentation to check out. but it's really just focusing on the learner in general. So,
and if that's something, again, you're interested in, definitely reach out. Again, technology helps tremendously with UDL. It's a big part of it, but it's using it in the correct way to remove those barriers for our students so that they then have access, and then giving them some engagement, getting them bought into the idea of creating something. So.
Yeah. And like you said, Jimmy, if you use AI, when I think of if I'm going to have a buffet and what am I going to put on in my lesson as the toppings, that's where AI just explodes my creativity, because I might I'll get 10 responses and be like, oh my God, I never thought about that. What a great idea, and I scratch off the ones that aren't any good, but now I have some that I never would have thought of. So definitely encouraging teachers to use the Magic School to get lists of ideas.
Yep, and they've got UDL. You can use Raina. They've got choices there, so that's great as well. So, and then you went to Eric Kurtz. He's a great, another good resource. Got a copy of his presentation also in the show notes. What did he say about kind of the Google version?
Well, because he was just talking about Gemini, which we have access to, and really all teachers right now, if they go to the Waffle and their Google Waffle, and then you scroll down, you'll see Gemini, and it's just another AI chatbot. So it is an option. And then he just talked about, there's something in there called a Gem Manager, and it has some of those preset, kind of like our Magic School has the different, formats ready for you. And you've got the Brainstormer, there's like a career guide, there's coding partner, learning coach, writing editor, and those are all just there. They're not even ones that you have to ask the prompt engineer to really know how to get the information you want. So it's there for us. So it is definitely a tool that you want to check out. And then his resources, he shares everything. He doesn't make anybody pay for anything.
No, he's great.
So that's linked. Check it out.
Another one we should get on the podcast as well.
Yeah,
So.
he would do it.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's great.
I'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah. And then who got to see Matt Miller and Holly with AI literacy?
I did.
Yeah.
Perfect. So they were super powerful in that they were helping us to understand what we need to be doing with kids. It's almost like the 4 R's, and the last R, reading, writing, arithmetic, and, artificial intelligence is the 4th R. But they have, there's a link in the show notes to AI or Not. It's a game. And it really opened my eyes up, because I thought that I was pretty savvy, with recognizing AI, and it pops up
on the screen now. Yeah,
it pops up pictures and 2 pictures, and you have to pick which one is the AI, or is it AI, or is it human? And I was wrong 70% of the time. And it gives you text too, so that you can decide, was this written by a human or was this AI generated? And so just playing that game with your students can help them become more savvy in realizing, these things I'm seeing on social media, I need to start questioning,
big part
and be a little bit skeptical. Yeah.
Goes along with the digital citizenship.
Exactly.
And just,
Exactly. And they have a protocol that they put together called ACE, and it stands for Awareness, Critique, and Exploration. And their presentation is linked in the show notes too, so you can dig in there if you want to see, what to do if in helping your kids to understand AI, because this is their future. We're the internet generation and they're the AI generation.
And that's what led me to I saw Matt Miller, and he basically gave a little mini TED talk. It was fabulous. And if you're again interested more in Matt Miller, he did our episode 83 with AI in education. He's got a book, but he was on Dr. Phil. I didn't know that. Talking about AI and future of education. So he's in it. And so listen to him talk about we have to, preparing our kids for the future, just like you talked about. Problem is we don't know what that future looks like.
Right.
And so really having to, take some risks, I think, be willing to fail a little bit as we are preparing these students, because we have no idea what, because if you're looking at, a middle schooler now, or even, an elementary school, we don't even know what, 5 years is going to look. Imagine 10, 15 years, what it's going to look like. So, I think, thinking about that, taking some risk, being willing to fail is good. And that we're, in teaching our kids how to use it properly to stand out and be unique and still be creative with it, I think is also important. So
we're still doing his book study too.
Yep, and the book study. Yep.
So if anyone's interested in that, it's also linked in the show notes. It's still available for the rest of the school year.
Cool. And our last topic for today is going to be increasing student engagement, which goes along with a little bit with creation. But I think it goes a little bit deeper in that we're empowering them. I think anytime you can empower our students, with technology, again, getting them creating over consuming, using things like Canva, using things like Minecraft if it's available. We do have a few licenses. We got Book Creator, another great one. Anytime you're increasing that student voice is great. And another way to really get engagement is project-based learning. It's something that we just did a couple episodes ago in project-based learning, and then we did some more. And you did a really cool workshop with speed project-based learning. So go ahead and talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes. So this session was with AJ Giuliani, who is from the Philadelphia area. Go Birds. He's a big PBL guy, and there was a study out of Stanford that researched, what really are the most powerful days in a PBL project. And some projects are 2 weeks long, some are 8 weeks long, some go a full semester. And they figured out that it was 3 different things. And it's the day that they create something, the day that they share out their creations, and then the day that they actually have to defend their learning. So they came up with a 3-day PBL.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm really excited about this because time is what stresses teachers out the most.
Yes.
I don't have time for PBL. I want to do it, but. And so a 3-day PBL is something I think that anybody could try out.
Sure.
One of the big things that always shocks me is they find that the learning that happens in the PBL is cemented longer, like it's permanent learning, and that those kids actually do better on the end of year tests, standardized tests, than kids who just are compliant. And the whole thing was all about from compliance right to empowerment. And so I'm really excited to try a 3-day PBL with a teacher.
Jimmy, you saw that with your own.
Yeah, you did it all the time.
Was coming back to you.
And the reason I kind of fell into it is, again, EOC teacher, AP teacher, like that learning had to be cemented from August all the way to May. And so it was important that to really cement the learning. And I've always had students that I've talked to that come back 5, 6, 7 years later, remember those experiences and remember those things more than anything else that, I was up there jibber jabbering about trying to talk about. So, so we did the Power Project-Based Learning episode 94. So definitely check that out. It kind of goes also in line with, we saw some STEM smashing stuff. We've got some other resources in here. We built a better curriculum, talking about using scenario-based teaching, which is basically the same
PBL.
thing. Which, again, using AI in Magic School, they've got project-based learning. You can use the chatbot. So.
Yeah, that tool that's in Magic School is pretty awesome. I used to get hung up as a teacher trying to figure out all the different parts, but when it gives me the structure, I can really just jump in.
It's nice because it gives you roles for each person. It's really, really a great feature as well. So check those show notes out as well. So again, we saw tons of stuff. It's kind of the stuff we wanted to keep our conversation to a small amount. If you got questions, definitely reach out to any of your ILCs. We'd be more than happy to get you some of these resources. This is one of those show notes I think you definitely want to check out. As we've got, again, tons of links and resources and slides and presentations and all that kind of stuff to help you get going with what you're doing. So make sure you check out and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you're getting your podcasts so that you can find new episodes. Check out the show notes. Also down there, we've got the Innovation Squadcast PD. For every 2 episodes, you get 1 hour of renewal credit. Just make sure you register for through Unified Talent. And I really appreciate everybody listening. If you want to be on the podcast, you got any other ideas, definitely reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to come to you or you come to us and get you on the podcast and share all the wonderful things you're doing in your classroom. So thank you guys. We had a great time. Appreciate it. I think we learned a ton, which is why we went down there. And now we're ready to get rolling. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Until next time, keep innovating. Bye.